Welcome back. This is Friday Fuel and this is the mini-series Answer Me This. I'm Aidan, the founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club, and I want to invite you to dive deeper this week. But before we do, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast. Grab some of our free resources at themodernfatherhoodclub.com, and if you like what you see, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment and let us know how we can add more value by creating more resources, creating more video and more podcast content. This is Answer Me This. Let's get started. So, are you modelling what they need to see or just managing the chaos? Be honest with yourself. And to be clear, there is no wrong answer. This is simply about reflection and taking that time to consider what matters to you. This is the whole point of this podcast series. Reflect, take a moment to correct where needed, and then go again. Look, I had the privilege of attending the first ever Working Dads Summit this week. A massive shout out to Elliot Ray and his Parenting Out Loud initiative. A brilliant piece of work, great energy, really strong, relatable stories, some incredibly raw and honest moments, and plenty of laughs too. But here, this is what I've taken away from it. This is going to be a slog. Changing the game for dads, regardless of your journey and where you find yourself in that journey, well, that's going to be hard. And you, my friend, are going to have to do the work. Champion yourself and your fellow dads. And this is the kicker. We're our own worst enemy. And it's not until we're on the cusp of losing it all that we'll take a step back and have that oh shit moment. The underlying message from dads around me is that we're getting better at being around other dads, but it's still not a priority. And I believe that it comes back to this: knowing and being confident in who you are, your identity as a dad, as a man, as a partner, and what you stand for and what's important to you and how you prioritize it. Where are you heading? What can you do now to impact your future and theirs? You see, we need momentum here in the UK. After the extension to paid paternity leave was rejected, we need to be louder. We must vocalise the impact that we're having. Don't let anyone play down your role, because people won't take notice if you're not prepared to openly talk about your fatherhood story and similar stories like yours. We can't hide, because that's playing small. And that's not what our kids need to see. What you do today, tomorrow, and from this moment is what's going to shape the way your children see you. And it's going to have a profound impact on who they become. They won't fully understand what they are capable of without your leadership. And despite all the chaos all around you and them, it's your ability to connect and stay clear-headed that's going to show them who you truly are. Remember, we're not looking for perfect, we're looking for progression, passion, and presence. So look, there's this moment, usually in the quiet, late at night, when the kids are asleep and the house is still, where the noise fades and the questions hit. Am I showing them strength or just stress? Do they see the version of me they need? Or have I got my head down because I need to focus on getting through the day, getting them ready, making sure that we get whatever we need to get done? Are they learning to lead or survive? And a personal one for me, will the chaos ever subside? Today, well, it's the 3rd of October and we're 3 weeks in to this new routine. Terry's now working in London 3 days a week, and we've just got through the first few weeks where she was in the office 4 days a week. That's the longest she's been away from the boys since before 2020. That's the longest time I've done the solo school runs after school clubs and the homework. This is our new world filled with new challenges, new opportunities, and for me, it's a chance to step up and give her the support that she needs. Remember, our objective is to stand shoulder to shoulder. And if you're still in a loving, committed partnership, then you must champion that woman that you love to your kids, even if you're not. Tell your kids what you admire about their mother. Celebrate her regardless of your present situation. And keep that shit you might feel about her to yourself. Walking to school this week after an interesting morning with the boys, I pulled them to one side and said, you know what? Your mum's a superstar. She's a superhero. She's putting you and me first. And she's creating something she'll be proud of in the future. But above all else, she's doing it for us. And sometimes that hurts. It hurts mummy leaving the two people she loves more than the world itself. But she does it because she loves you. This is the life of a modern working parent. Sometimes it's tough. The relentlessness is something we live with and we must adjust to. But in that chaos, they've got to see the version of you that they need. Presented with a chance to be home more, I now have the opportunity to watch her flourish and regain her confidence, passion and inner strength. Early days, but she's at an employer who have shown her more than her previous employer did since she'd had the kids. This is a big step for both of us, but it feels like a step in the right direction. But in the chaos, am I showing them strength or just stress? A new house, renovations, the business, a job with talk of promotion, Henry's football team, schoolwork, and Terry stepping into this exciting new chapter. It's a full plate. And it feels like no one's helping clear it. But let's face it, we need to learn to get it done because that's our role. You suit up every day because they need you, not just as a provider, but as a father, a model, a man they'll someday measure themselves against. So when you think about the question, you need to understand the man that's showing up and the influences that circle and how they influence how you show up. Because this is about modelling what they need to see. Only you can define this, and it starts with understanding who you are. You need to understand this because you need to have something that anchors the way that you show up. It's not about what you do as a dad, it's about who you are and who you're teaching your boys to believe that they are. Most dads stop at the surface: provider, protector, coach. But kids don't copy your role, they copy your identity. When you strip away the job, the labels, who are you at your core? Who do they need to see? When your kids look at you, do they see a man defined by pressure and hustle, or a man defined by presence and power? And if you could choose just one word to describe the identity you want them to carry into their future, what is it? The challenge, of course, is that we don't always model what matters most. And when the plates are spinning, you've got to ask yourself, who's showing up? I know you're trying to give them everything. Love, connection, happiness. But the grind, the mortgage, the pressure to perform, but it pulls you further from presence. It makes bedtime feel like a box tick. It makes quality time a luxury instead of a non-negotiable. And then it hits you. Am I showing them how to stay grounded or how to stay busy? Am I showing them love in motion or stress in disguise? Because your sons, your daughters, they're watching. And they don't care about your email list, your salary band, or your renovation timeline. They care about the man who walks through the door. They care about how safe they feel in your arms. They care about whether you're truly there or just functioning nearby. It's that choice, that's the one we have to lean into. Is it leadership or avoidance? Because listen, your kids aren't just listening to what you say, they're absorbing who you are. They're watching how you respond when the pressure hits, when plans fall apart, when the weight gets heavy. They're learning from how you treat your partner, how you handle your business, how you walk into the room. So here's the real question. If they copied your mindset, your work ethic, your emotional pattern, would they win or would they struggle? Would they know how to show up when it's hard, or would they shut down and scroll like they see you do? Would they know how to have hard conversations with their partner? Or would they avoid conflict like you do sometimes after a long day? Would they believe in possibility, in building something meaningful, or would they settle for just getting by because that's what they saw? I've said it before, we set the tone, not just for them as people, but for every step that they take. What you show them in that moment when you're under pressure or struggling under the weight of your own expectations, that's teaching them about who they are and who they could become. Take it from me. When you carry a heavy load, the head is bowed, the shoulders are slumped, the energy you bring to that conversation, the interest you show, it's all mirrored. It's learned behaviour, learned identity, and it becomes a cage from which they'll need to escape in the future. How you walk, how you talk, how you treat others, how you respect them and respect your partner, that's all on show and it's all absorbed. And it's fucking hard. You must find the mask, embrace the identity that shifts the energy in the room, the emotion, the focus, the engagement. Because if you don't, you're weighed down and they'll see you hurt, but they won't understand why. Let me give you an example. Henry's football. We lose 3 on the bounce. I'm conflicted. I took on the role so he could play, but with others in the team, I feel like I disappoint him when I take him off. It's a 7-a-side game. We have 3, maybe 4 subs and a core of some stronger players. I'm disappointed in myself because to help him play more football at times, I put our relationship at risk. I feel like I put others above him when that's not my intention. And I feel like he feels hurt when I apply that little bit of pressure. What was supposed to be a fun experience for us both often leads to frustration on his part. My decisions at times leave him upset, slumped shoulders. That burns. We talk about it in the car. I want him to understand that it hurts me too. But at 8, is he taking it in? I don't know. All I know is that what was supposed to bring us closer together actually has the capacity to drive a wedge between us. When we set out on this journey, he said, "Dad, I'd like to play in a team." So I backed him, and I'm going to continue to do so. Why? Because I fear that the way the system is designed, he'd lose out, not get picked at all, not play, and end up one day remembering that he didn't fit. And that could well destroy his confidence. My role is to teach him something as his coach, but as his dad, you just want to wrap your arms around him and give him that love he deserves, that boost to his self-esteem. But when you've been replaced by your dad, all I know is I feel this deep regret. I know it's a game, but as a dad, your role is to build their confidence, resilience, and inner strength. And when I feel like I take it away, I feel like I'm eroding and not building. Because you're not just raising kids, you're raising future parents, future partners, future leaders. Raising good humans, well-rounded, respectful and confident people. But that requires effort, courage, perseverance, strategy, focus and patience. They don't need a perfect role model, but they need a present one, a conscious one, a real one. So if you felt conflicted or that you're underperforming and not giving them what they need, take a second, not to shame yourself, but to check yourself. What are you modelling? Not when it's all sunshine and football matches, but when it's chaotic, tight, stressful, because that's what they'll carry. That's what they'll repeat. That's what they'll build their lives on. And maybe the shift isn't some giant overhaul. Maybe it starts with 10 minutes of presence, one moment of honesty, one new standard set in motion. That's leadership. That's strength. That's fatherhood on purpose. I think that's where we get it wrong sometimes. We're not prepared to lift the lid, talk about it, even just reflect on it. I write every single day because I have to. I need to reflect on how things play out. But also, as they're getting older and more complex and more willing to challenge, I have to learn more about myself, more about them. Because that's what they need, not someone stuck in his ways and inflexible in his approach, but someone prepared to look in the mirror and question if that response was the right one. At times it is chaos. Two boys both adapting to themselves, their own skin, growing up in a world that's changing at pace, surrounded by lots of influences and opinions that can alter the way they feel about themselves and can throw off their mood. And when that does happen, you don't have an instruction manual. Sometimes it shows up as something else, a change in behaviour, a reaction that doesn't make sense. That's when you need to go beyond the chaos. Think clearly and try to work out how to respond so that you don't amplify the emotion in the moment, but also so that you teach them how to respond no matter what they're feeling or carrying. So let's take a step back. Are you modelling what they need to see or just managing the chaos? The cold hard truth, you know what they really need. It's not the chaos. It's not the hustle. It's not the plan. It's you, not perfect, just present, not everything fixed, just emotionally available. Not the hero of the story, just the guy who always shows up. That's what they'll remember. That's what builds confidence. That's what makes them feel strong. Not the systems, not the stuff, but the feeling. That feeling my dad made me feel like I mattered more than anything. And this is the hard stuff, the work that needs to be done. What you focus on every day, that's what draws your attention. It's either distracting you or helping you connect with them. If I look at a typical day, I have 3 opportunities to bond. First thing in the morning, straight after school, before bed. I'm sure you're the same as me, but perhaps you've got less time. So first thing in the morning, despite the chaos of breakfast, schoolwork for both boys, and a school run, how I show up in the moment leaves a mark and a clear message. When I get it wrong, what happens? The day's impacted. The start we hope for, well, that disappears. And how they feel about themselves, that's impacted too. The message is clear. How you show up in these short moments teaches them about managing in the chaos, and that it's about calming the storm, not just on the inside, but the outside too. And it's necessary. Necessary because without a role model, where do they turn? Where do they search for the influence that they need to find their voice, confidence, motivation, and inner strength? Well, that person, they have to be relatable. They must be emotionally connected to the world that they're growing up in. That person, it's got to be you. The chaos, that's part and parcel of creating a future, inspiring growth, potential and progress. They need to see Dad in the eye of the storm, shifting his perspective, reframing his focus point, being clear on his intention and showing up no matter what. Not heavy, not burdened, not burned out, but lighting up the room, creating space to listen and engage, showing them warmth even when your patience is tested, showing them how to respond and how to react with composure, courage and compassion. As a father, you don't need to stop pushing or seeking out the next challenge. You just need to reframe the fight. The goal isn't to give them the world. It's to give them the best of you consistently and intentionally. It's catching yourself when the chaos takes over and taking a step back with love. It's making the walk to school sacred. It's turning bedtime into a ritual. It's not letting the world outside your home dictate the way you show up inside it. That's the shift. That's leadership. That's strength. That's how it's done. As one dad put it recently, the journey can be hard, but it's only hard for those who resist. If you let go and let fatherhood change you, it will mould you exactly into what you're needed to be. We are the clay, and the needs of our children are the sculptors. Your job is to pause, reflect, and understand the influence that circles around. And then you pause to tune in to how they impact the way you feel in that moment and how you might show up. My simple piece of advice this week for you to take away is this: pause, reflect, interrupt. It's your failure to step back that's going to shape that next interaction. And it's your ability to see what's about to play out that will help you break the cycle and enable you to show up as they need to see you. So here's the reflection. If they copy your patterns, your priorities, your emotional rhythm, who are you raising? Who will they become? What will they believe? What will be the voice they hear before they need to act? And what identity will they embody? Now ask yourself this: are they learning how to love deeply or how to stay busy endlessly? Are they learning to lead themselves or to bury their needs for the sake of the grind? And more importantly, are you ready to become the version of you that leads from a position of joy, not pressure? Because that man, that father, well, he's already in you. It just takes a moment of clarity and a decision to live by what matters most. We lead. We embrace failure. We adjust to the circumstances we find ourselves in. We challenge, we live, we love, we fight, we listen. But too often, we're silent, reserved, and hoping it won't be noticed. We appear disengaged, stressed, unwilling to take a knee and make the most of the present moment. We do it because it's the thing we understand more than anything. I'm a dad. My thoughts and feelings only distract from the influence I'm trying to have. I'll soldier on. I'll fight against the tide. I'll put them first. I serve, and one day I'll have served my role and given my everything to advance their future. And that's okay, or is it? Because in that moment where you choose to take the knee and dive into their world and prioritize your relationship, well, they see who you really are, daddy or dad. The man who understood the way they felt in the moment, the man who recognized when they were finding something hard and saw a chance to create a deeper connection, the man who gave it all but refused to lose sight of the things that mattered. The man who gave his time, his love, his passion and energy in the quiet times, and even when the chaos descended. I'll give my kids everything I have, but not at the cost of our connection, not at the cost of us. They're young, but my influence now is greater than it will ever be. I have one chance to shape each life, and you do too. If this landed, if it made you stop and think, well, this is your chance to take a step forward. Don't do it alone. Join the Modern Fatherhood Club at themodernfatherhoodclub.com. Spark a conversation about fatherhood. Support someone similar to you, or just engage in a learned experience. Talk to your partner. Show your kids what real reflection looks like. Invite them into the plan, the journey, the joy. Above it all, respect the man you are and what you're trying to achieve. Lead the next generation from a position of strength, courage and confidence, and lead with love and gratitude. Be grateful for the opportunity to shape lives and never be overawed by the magnitude of the task at hand. Be humble in your approach. Let them see the man you are, what you stand for and the respect that you have for them, your partner or the mother of your children, and for yourself. We can manage in the chaos and not screw it up. Reflection, perseverance and a clear line of sight on what really matters is what makes the difference. As always, the Modern Fatherhood Club has your back. Let's raise a generation that doesn't just succeed, but one that feels loved, connected and alive while doing it. If you're on this journey and you feel like you're carrying the weight of generational stuff, trying to build your future while being present for your kids, you're not alone. This is the work. This is the real growth. And if you want to go deeper, stay close. The Modern Fatherhood Club is building something powerful for dads like you and I. If this gave you something this week, this is the Modern Fatherhood Club. This is what I stand for. And this is what fatherhood is about. My vision, well, it's simple. Test the boundaries of fatherhood today and set a new precedent for how we show up and how we shape their future. This series, if you've liked it, is designed to test you, push you outside your comfort zone and ask you some tough questions, because I believe we need to evolve, adapt to our environment and show up when they need us. Not just when they need us most, but all the time. I believe we have to take responsibility now for our future, for their future, and for the success, happiness, and peace of future generations. Our role is to create opportunity and show them how it's done, and we can't do that if we're not prepared to lead with intention and grow with our role. Every opportunity to spend time together, well, that's time to invest in your legacy. Every moment lost is one you'll never get back and one you'll never repeat. Remember, you don't need more time. You just need more clarity, more conviction, and a reminder that your presence is the point, and your past, well, it doesn't control your future. What you need, more than anything, is to choose to set the standard and then raise your game. Not by throwing yourself into work, but by throwing yourself into the life at home, in the moments with your kids and your partner. Because your standard is going to set the tone. It will create a vision for their future, one that you can nurture over time. This has never been about making sweeping changes. It's simply about taking a step forward today, another tomorrow, and doing it every single day. If you start today, where will they be in the future? What path will they follow? And how much will you and they grow? And what is your bond going to be like? Because always write it down, dive into the detail, create something so powerful and unique that you cannot wake up and not move toward it. Your change, any change, must be necessary, and it's got to leave a mark. They'll follow in your footsteps. They'll learn your behaviours, adopt your values, and treat people in the same way that you treated them. Your role is simple. Give it everything you have and give them what they need. Lead from the front and help them discover their strength, passion, power, resilience. And in doing so, discover the rawness of your story and what shaped you. Leaders always understand their limitations. They recognise when they don't have all the answers. And let's face it, we don't. This series is here to help you work through the hard stuff and give you the insight into what you might be missing. This journey, it's not easy, but you're not alone. If you're doing the work, let's talk. Let's keep each other honest. And if you liked what you hear, like what you've seen, subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel, join the Modern Fatherhood Club. As always, thank you so much for listening. This has been Aidan, the founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club, and this is Friday Fuel and our mini-series Answer Me This, all part of the Fatherhood in Focus podcast. For all our resources, head over to themodernfatherhoodclub.com. You can grab a copy of any of our ebooks, and you can grab a copy of the New Dad Toolkit for £24, which includes all 5 of our ebooks, all focused on your impact as a dad and how you can impact your children's lives, and also how you can impact your partner's life as she returns from maternity leave, or even if you're just starting out. And for those of you looking to reset, we've got the New Dad Recharge, which right now includes Fatherhood Unleashed. The 2 courses give you all the insight that you need to make the changes that are necessary for you to feel confident in your role, but also to have the influence that they need you to have, and have the impact that you want to have. all available at themodernfatherhoodclub.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon.